Okay,
We're back.
we're back in a different studio.
Yeah, back somewhere else. This is my house. We are switching locations for a little bit.
Yes, mine is
and-
temporarily locked down,
Yes.
so to say. So audio will be a bit different, and there might be a little bit of background noise. Lighting is different, but still.
We're testing things out. Let
Yeah.
us know if you have any feedback, but should be fine.
Should be great.
Yeah.
Yes, we're back with a very awesome matchup,
Exactly.
as well as awesome sleeves.
True.
As the last time. This time, again, Dragon Shield mats, as we most of the time play, right?
I've been playing for years. We'll continue
Yeah.
to be playing for years.
I mean, the normal ones, the glare ones, are a bit sticky after time, so I prefer to play with the matte variants.
Yeah.
This is the midnight blue color. Prior to the collaboration, we choose this one because it fits our entire setup very well. Goes in the similar color tone. This time we went for a monocolored session because it's easier to swap cards, and yeah. Head down in the description to check out our link. We have a small discount code. Definitely check that out. But I think everyone is familiar with with Dragon Shields because the sleeves are just awesome.
Yeah. And if I think basically every video we've made, we've had our sleeves in had our cards in Dragon Shield sleeves.
Yeah.
They are just the best and most long-lasting set of sleeves. You know, that I think that's one of the main things that you start looking at once you've tried everything out. Which sleeves last the longest?
Exactly.
Which sleeves can you play and keep playing for a long time, and that you don't have to change too often? Because you're never going to have a set of sleeves that you don't change. It's plastic, it degrades over time. That's just the way it goes. But Dragon Shield matte sleeves, they do last a long time, and we're very happy with them.
True.
All right.
Let's talk about the matchup.
Something we're also very happy with, the new elephant.
Yeah.
We talked about it in our review.
Yeah.
And we have put together a list which
orients a lot on the French variants, I would say.
Yeah.
We've done some testing ourselves, and we ended up with this variant. Seems to be very consistent.
It's kind of more the control shell than trying to do something too aggressive with it. Testing this card, we had situations where you played him for 6 and you play him for 8, and he's still doing a lot of stuff. And it's just a really consistent way to get a strong board state, so you can focus most of your deck on controlling what the opponent is doing, and have a couple of synergy pieces with him, and that just lets you take over the game that way, which is pretty strong, pretty consistent. And I think this is going to be a testing matchup because there's a lot of interaction in the deck, and this deck does not present a lot to interact with.
That's true.
So what I'm going to be trying to do is find cards that interact with your mana base, and kind of go from there. Yeah.
Hidetsugu Kairi, a deck that we talked about in the previous tier list we made. You were very hard on the deck, actually, putting it in D tier.
Yeah.
Some people disagreed with that. Others kind of agreed. I mean, again, within these 20 decks that we evaluated, it is in D tier. Overall, it's obviously not.
Yeah.
It's one of the better decks. And I think the concept of this deck is still very interesting, really cool, very unique. It's one of the few cards. So there was a time in which I said, and I think that was true, that cards are getting, especially commander cards, are getting more and more mid-rangier, more like creating some random value, rather than being a card to build around a deck. Both those commanders are decks that definitely offer you to have a build around.
Yeah.
Especially Hidetsugu and Kairi.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the cooler control decks in the format, to be honest. Tazigo is also very enjoyable, but rather streamlined, And this one here has some fancy things too.
Has some pretty high ups.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
Which is
and sometimes that results in high downs also, right? But it is what it is. We're going to show it today. It's been a while that we played it. You played it last time against Plagon, which is a year ago or something. So
yeah,
lots of things changed.
This deck does not play any of the crazy hate cards
Yeah.
against it. So
Lucky me.
maybe we'll get to see it shine more in this matchup.
Yeah. I just realized I packed everything except for our rock, paper, scissors.
Oh.
So we just roll the die. A very classic one.
Yeah, I have no, I don't have any copies of rock.
All the copies you have are in my box.
Yeah.
So let's just go with the die roll. 6 is, well, 7 is better. Absolutely. Yeah. We will resolve mulligans
and
get back.
Yeah.
All right.
We are back. We've both kept 7.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping a okay hand. We'll see how it goes, but I think it'll be fine.
More or less the same for me. I think my hand is good. It's a average hand, I would say.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
You may start.
I will start us off with a tapped Quarry Mountain Monastery and pass the turn.
Okay. I will start us off with a Flooded Strand, passing a turn.
All right. I will untap. I will draw. I will play a Plains. Cast a Liquid Metal Coating.
That's not bad.
And pass the turn.
I would like to fetch.
For a
Search myself a Surveil land.
Yeah.
I could also go for an island respecting your Magus of the Moon. Prior to recording this session, we thought about including Ruination. Ended up deciding not to do it since the mana base of Quintorius is very focused on non-basic lands.
Yeah.
And you see an example for that in the monastery.
There is like 7 basics, which is more than a lot of other decks play.
Yeah.
But there are some very mana pip heavy cards in the deck, and yeah, going towards a Ruination that
gonna been cut down.
Cut down, okay. Yep.
My turn.
Shock. Okay.
Pass the turn.
Okay. Untap. Draw. Then I will play a Scalding Tarn. And pass the turn.
I'd like to play an Orc Sporemaster end of turn.
That's fine.
Ping you for 1?
Yep.
Make an Orc army. There's the Orc army. And it's my turn?
Yep.
All right. I will play a land. Go for combat. Take for 2.
Take 2.
Pass the turn.
End of turn, I'd like to crack my fetch.
I would like to cast a Banshee Tongue in response. 4x equals 0.
Yeah, I would like to tithe.
Okay.
So I would have been holding priority. I was still speaking, but so you missed the draw. And then you can draw.
Yeah. Then I draw a card.
So enters the battlefield, trigger, Surveil 1. The Eagles of the North can go to the graveyard.
You have land type and things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Then untap, draw for turn.
Yeah.
Then I will cast a On Wings of Gold.
I would like to respond to that and cast a Cling to Dust, target your Tithe.
Okay.
Draw a card.
Yeah.
All right, then you have it.
Okay. Enters.
Yeah.
Then I would like to play a Pit of Offerings,
Mhm.
exile Cling, and what's the other card?
It's your graveyard, right? Not any graveyard,
Yeah, but I have 3 targets.
but from one graveyard.
No, from
It's
graveyards.
From graveyards? Okay.
Yeah. So exile the Eagles and the Cut Down and the Cling.
Okay.
So I have a trigger here to make a 1/1 zombie. And this thing makes white and black mana. True.
Yeah, so there's black. Okay.
Then I'll pass the turn.
So it's a 2/2 right now, right?
It is a 2/2.
Okay.
While the enchantment is in play.
Yeah, then I will pass the turn, I guess.
Okay. I will untap. I will draw. I will play a Faithless Looting.
Ballsy.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
Resolves?
Yeah.
Then I have 2 triggers afterwards.
Yeah. Discard Marsh Flats, discard Deification.
Okay. Deification was the enchantment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that grants hexproof and stuff.
Where
then
do the
I
triggers
ping you
go?
for 2.
Okay. Then I'll play a Portable Hole.
I would like to drown that.
Okay. Then I will play a March of the Moon.
Yep. That's fine with me.
And pass the turn.
How many cards in hand? 2?
2, yeah.
Commit?
Yeah. Take 3.
Okay. I play Flare. Sacrificing the Bowmaster.
Yeah.
Then I play Hidetsugu.
Yeah.
Whoop, sorry. Trigger.
I have to read the trigger real quick.
Sure. That's correct. Yeah. Pass the turn.
Okay. Untap. Draw. Flashback Faithless Looting. Trigger.
Wash away.
That's what I thought. Okay.
It's exiled.
That's true. Then it's your turn. Oh, sorry. Play a land.
Yeah, that's fair. A better way would be to do it like that. Cast a toxic for x equals 2.
Okay.
Okay. And Chitong dies. We go to 15, then I go for combat.
Yeah.
For 3.
For 4. I
For
will
4.
take 4.
Correct. Then I sacrifice Hidetsugu.
Yeah, you have a trigger on the stack.
Yeah.
I would like to respond to the trigger with a silence.
Yeah, you will still lose 10 life.
Yeah.
So GG.
Yeah.
What? All right. Then we will go over to round 2. All right.
We are back.
Back to the second round. We had an interesting round 1.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good interaction against me. The silence, Orum's Chant
was not enough.
Was not enough, yeah.
a bit of the pressure that you had.
True.
But the lineup was very good. Bowmaster was pretty good against this deck if I don't have it. And I kept no removal in order to deal with that. So because the deck barely plays any creatures and then you play 2 creatures, it's like, okay.
That's true.
I will play a tapped Glittering Massive and pass.
All right. Draw a card. Play a Beautiful Island from the Secret Layer.
True. Oops. That's one card from the top.
I didn't see it.
I will. That's pretty good. Do I play that now? I think I do. I will play an Urza Saga.
Okay.
Enters the battlefield, triggers.
Yep.
And then I will play an Arcane Signet.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
And then I will play a Grim Lavamancer.
This one I will Stern Scolding.
That's fine. And I'll pass the turn, yep.
All right. Okay. Play a Swamp, passing the turn.
Okay. Untap. Draw. Trigger.
Yep. The Saga is good against me, I guess.
Yeah. I think I'm fine with that plan. I'll play a Marsh Flats and pass.
Draw a card. Play another Swamp, passing the turn.
In return, I like to fetch.
Yep. Go to 19.
That's fine.
Why is it here?
Could be over here.
Yeah, maybe. Because I searched 3 constructs for us. Yeah. There we go.
Then I will untap, then I'll draw. Tick this up.
Yep.
Trigger. Make another construct.
That's what I thought.
And go looking. And I think from testing, the best card was Currency Converter to go get, since that interacts very well with the uptick ability of the commander.
Definitely.
Even better than the Graveyard Hate.
Yeah, that seems to be a good choice. Really nice interaction.
Then I've drawn my card. I will play a Snow-Covered Plains. And a Scrabbling Clause.
Oh, even more artifacts.
Then I'd like to go to combat.
Yeah, I would like to push the one without Summoning Sickness.
Yeah, that's fine. And pass the turn.
Alrighty. Draw card. Play a Laser-type Query, passing the turn.
I'd like you to exile a card from your graveyard.
I choose to. The exile my Stern Scolding.
I will draw. I'll go to combat. Attack for 4.
Yeah.
So
wait, only this way.
With a Temple, you could do some nasty stuff next turn.
True.
You have a full hand. I think I will go for my commander.
That resolves.
That resolves. Wow.
Yeah. My mana base betrays me.
Ooh. Okay. Well, then,
as it's often the case in this deck, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
he will go up to 6.
Yeah.
I have the option to discard a card. I will take that option. I will discard a Sacred Foundry.
Yeah.
Then draw 2 cards and mill a card. Then I have a trigger for the Currency Converter, and I will put the Sacred Foundry under the Currency Converter.
Oh, that's. You want to put it on aligned with your. Yeah, exactly.
This with my mana base. Then I have a trigger for Quintorius.
Yep.
To make a 3/2 Spirit. Then I will play a land. And pass the turn.
All right. Draw cards. Yeah, you see. It gets better and better.
Okay.
In this state, I think I'm forced to cast my Damnation.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting rid of 2 big tokens. Passing your turn.
End of turn, I'd like to cast an Enlightened Turtle.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Disruptive Flute is.
Oh, okay.
What were you
That's
thinking?
also okay. Yeah, that's also fine. You could have also gone for the 4-mana enchantment that you played in the previous game, just because you have options to make thousands of tokens.
Yeah.
Okay. Search yourself a Disruptive Flute.
Yes.
Very good card.
Then end of turn, still I will tap my currency converter to put the Sacred Foundry in my graveyard and make a treasure token.
Oh yeah. Is the treasure there? No, it's not on the backside.
Okay.
I think I already...
And I will tap
have
my Scrabbling Claws to remove the Windswept Heath from my graveyard in order to make another spirit. Now I have the option to make another spirit if I want to by sacrificing the Scrabbling Claws, but I think that's a bit...
That's a bit greedy, right?
It's a bit greedy because I mean I can do 12 damage next turn.
Yeah, but why would you do
I
that?
can do the damage the turn afterwards as well. So
you can present some more things. I think this game is over already.
I can untap.
Now that the flute is here.
I think that's... I'm just going to go for that right away.
Yeah, I have no spell snare, sadly.
Name the commander.
Yeah.
Uptick Quintorius. Discard an Oust. Trigger a currency converter.
Yep.
Draw 2. Mill Fury.
Attack with the spirit, I guess.
Yeah, I have another spirit.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
And then
there's much going on.
We'll check again if you have a Spell Pierce. I don't think you would. I'll play the On Wings of Gold.
No.
Then I'll attack for 4.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So optimal sequencing would have been to play this first.
Yeah.
But I think but I didn't have a land, so I could have used the treasure, but never mind.
My turn. No?
Yeah, your turn.
Yes, no?
Yeah.
No, yes.
Yep.
What do I have? Yeah. It's I was sitting on this, so that's where we said, so this I had this in hand and this in hand all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what we said, like I draw 7, this card is dead the entire time.
Yeah.
That's what you criticized very much when we had the tier review. I basically have a mulligan to 6 with that, waiting for him to come down to use that at some point. It's not the worst card against you, but it's also not crazy cool. And then, you know, like I'm begging to find my second blue source. Yeah. Well, I kept the hand because I thought, well, I have 3 basic lands, so your Magus is the value is reduced, let's say, like this, and also you play Dust Bowl and things like that. I thought about this, but didn't find a second blue source, which can happen from time to time. But the Necrotic Hex here really sucks, to be honest. Could have been any other useful card.
Yeah.
And that's the same for all the other high CMC targets that you have to play.
So,
all right, we will go over to the third one.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are back.
We are back.
I have kept a fine hand.
Same here. I think it's an interesting one. You will see it. Prior to the beginning of this game, I will start with a Preordain. And I think this is a top, and I will draw a card.
Top.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
I will draw as well.
Sometimes you have to have...
I will play a Glittering Massive and pass the turn.
Alrighty. Draw a card. And I will play a fetch land, passing the turn.
On tap. I will draw. Well, these draws aren't too great. Similar sequence to last game. I have an Urza Saga. And then I would like to cast an Agatha's Soul Cauldron.
That's good.
Then I'll pass.
Oh, wait. That's okay. I will fetch in the flip.
Yeah.
Searching for the sewers. Have a trigger. I think this will stay on top. Drawing that. And
so, this man is very happy with everything he's drawn so far.
I could say so, yeah.
2 tops with the Preordain, 1 top with the Surveil. I'd like to exile the Verdant Catacombs.
Okay.
Untap.
Yep.
Draw. I'll play an Inspiring Vantage and pass the turn.
Mm-hmm. We'll play a Tower of Phyrexia, passing the turn.
Okay. I will make a construct.
That's fine with me.
And exile your Preordain.
I would like to exile it with my Cling in response.
Okay.
To draw cards.
Yeah.
You may proceed.
Draw.
Yep.
Then Saga goes up to 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make another construct.
Yep.
And
in response to the construct activation, I would like you to sacrifice a token.
okay, to the construct activation.
Yeah, to the construct. So you can sacrifice the one
Yeah.
without summoning sickness.
I think same procedure as last time. I will get the Bag of Holding. Not the Bag of Holding. The
Currency converter.
currency converter. Bag of Holding does the same thing, but currency converter is better.
What is Bag of Holding?
Bag of Holding does.
It's a bit.
Has the
it's a
same
bit worse,
ability.
right? It's a bit
it just
worse.
doesn't have as.
Yeah,
it doesn't make the.
I think I know the
treasures
card.
intuitive.
I think I know the card. Okay.
Mm,
Cool dynamic so far. You have the Saga again, which is pretty good.
yeah. We will see an issue that I have to pass the turn.
Oh,
I kept three lands.
that is
and drew no more.
That is indeed an issue. And I've just drawn a really good card.
You need to tap another blue mana.
No. Why? Oh, it costs double blue. Never mind. You're
Yeah.
true. You're true. Then I have to do it this way.
Yeah.
Cast Hidetsugu.
I will respond to the enters the battlefield trigger.
Yeah.
By casting a Solitude, exiling a Split Up.
I think that's fine with me. I will not gamble in the blind. Then I have a Brainstorm.
Yeah.
I gain 5 life, by the way.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. I have a Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. No, it's okay. Yeah, correct.
Okay. End of turn, I'd like to exile the Solitude.
Yep.
And put a +1/+1 counter on the construct.
Yep. That's fine.
Then
this one is the other way
draw
around.
for turn. That's true.
Yeah.
Go to combat. Attack for 4.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Your turn.
End of turn, I would like to Island Cycle.
That's fine.
So I have something for my Brainstorm here.
Yeah.
Which is not bad. Then I draw cards. I will play an island. 2, 4, 6, 7. Go ahead.
End of turn, I'd like to cast a Cathar Commander.
I would like to Memory Lapse that.
That hurts.
That hurts, I can imagine.
Yeah, Memory Lapse, very good card here. Sorry, and I exile your Cling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Attack for 4.
You have one card in graveyard.
Yes.
I think this card is not getting any better with your Soul Cauldron.
It's
So,
converted mana.
yeah,
cost,
exactly.
right?
That's why in this case it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, there goes my clock. Do I want to change anything there? Yeah, no. Yeah.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Alrighty. So I draw a card. Playing a land, and I will 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Recast my commander.
Your commander resolves. You have a brainstorm.
ETB.
I would like to respond to the brainstorm with a get lost.
I will just gamble, sacrifice it. You will lose 1 life. I have 2 black. I cannot cast it anyways, because it's not an instant or sorcery. And with the 2 black, I won't do anything else than passing the turn.
I'll exile a card from your graveyard.
Okay. Which one? You get to choose? I mean, it doesn't really matter, since you can always, in case of a Snapcaster match, you could interact.
Okay, there we go. There's a card. You have 2 islands, 2 swamps, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't really get any better. I just have to... Absolutely. Yeah, I think I will... I'll cast a Phyrexian Furnace and pass the turn.
Not going for the Magus?
No. I'm locked out of my white mana if I cast the Magus.
Okay, I see, I see. Go ahead.
End of turn, I'd like to activate the currency converter.
Sure.
Draw a card. Discard. Ugin, Eye of the Storm.
Yeah.
Pretty far away from casting that card. Put it into the converter.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
probably exiling something.
The bottom card and the drown. So I'll exile the memory lapse.
Okay.
So
yeah. I'm left with the drown.
Then I will draw. All right, we forgot a brainstorm.
Yeah, I just realized I forgot the brainstorm. I'm sorry about that, guys. Yeah, we will not. It's okay. We will just proceed.
Yeah.
Got the trigger. Very, very awkward here, to be honest.
I will.
Yeah.
In my main phase, I will cast a Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
A Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That's okay.
Okay. Then I have a trigger.
Yeah.
For a shaman.
Yeah.
And I'll pass the turn.
Alrighty. Draw a card. Play a land. 4, 6, 9. Cast my commander.
Yep.
Maybe this time I will have something. Trigger.
So when we were making the tier list, these are the sorts of games that I kind of had in mind, where the opponent has instant speed interaction for Hidetsugu, which also means that you are flipping in the dark if you're flipping.
Did you lose 1 left to the Niels bomb, by the way? You did not, right?
Yeah, I did. I haven't fetched.
Okay, you have. Okay.
Yep. No other damage has been done so far.
Then I pass the turn.
Okay. I will furnace the last card in your graveyard. I will put the Ugin in mine, make a 2/2 rogue, and untap. Draw for main phase, and the Fable goes up. I will discard Cathar Commando and Deification.
Okay.
Put them both in the converter.
Yep. Makes sense.
And draw 2 cards.
Yep.
Then I'll play a Talongate. Attempt to phase out your commander.
Okay.
Then for the third time, I will play an On Wings of Gold.
Good card.
And go to combat.
Yep.
Attack for 6.
Because they're tokens.
Yeah. Make a treasure.
Yep.
And pass the turn.
Facing in. How big are the tokens?
They're 3/3.
Both 3/3.
And the tokens, this guy makes 1/1, so there'll be
2
2/2
with
the enchantment.
Yeah.
So curious what you have in hand. I mean, we'll see at the end of the game, but I am very curious.
Lots of things that don't line up.
Okay.
And the Talon Gates was crazy. But I also missed the Brainstorm, which probably cost me the game. That's a bit awkward, but I will at least roast your Goblin Shaman.
Okay.
Because this one is producing treasures.
That's true.
And... I think we're going to tax your mana base a little bit.
Oh.
Get rid of the command tower.
Yeah.
Not too happy about that, but I think I have to do it. Go ahead.
Okay. End of turn.
Yep.
I would like to cast an Enlightened Tutor.
Yep.
I think I'll go with a Swift. Yeah. And then I will exile the Saga.
So Swift is on top and you will draw it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exile the Saga. Make a 1/1 zombie. Now we were using these ones.
Whatever. That's
I'll make 2 of the 1/1 zombies, and by also exiling the Ugin.
Yep.
And also make another rogue.
Okay. Big army.
Big army. Untap. Draw Swift.
Trigger Fable.
Trigger Fable. Flip Fable.
Yeah.
Then I'll cast a Talisman and cast a Swift. Okay. But I think I am making enough tokens where I can safely attack.
I think so too.
For 10.
Those are two.
So
two
twos
two
and
rogues?
2 3/3s. So we can go like this as well.
Yeah, okay. Then I will block one here.
Yeah.
And go down to... So that's 7?
7 damage.
Yeah, then I go to 7. All right.
Then I'll pass the turn.
Okay. Draw a card. That's hilarious. I will fetch. Do you have a creature in graveyard?
No. I could have a creature in graveyard.
Because of the
can
Qatar.
Put the Qatar in the graveyard. Feels pretty risky.
I have to do it.
You have to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think it's better to go with a toxic for 3. Like that.
For 3?
Yeah, for 3. Go to 4.
So I'm making 2 tokens. No, I'm making 3 tokens. Yeah, then that's fine.
And then I would pass the turn.
Yeah. End of turn, I would like to make a rogue with a converter. Make a zombie by exiling the Get Lost with the Furnace.
Yep.
And I could do that.
Right, so if you make 3 tokens anyways, so I would have to
make an Enlightened Tutor.
I would have to sacrifice my commander now anyways, because if I find like something, so still end of turn.
Yeah,
I will
if I find an
sacrifice.
extra turn spell, then
Yeah, if I find an extra turn spell, then I need to act now. It's a subtlety. You lose for life. I don't do shit. Yeah, I drew 15,000 lands.
Yeah.
No way to filter anything.
Yeah, unfortunately.
There is a Cern's Vengeance, but it's too late. Yeah, I think GG in this case. So before you rage bait, no, not rage bait. Before you rage too much on me missing my brainstorm, what actually won you the game was a random interaction between Talon Gates and resolving your thing, because I had a Force of Negation on top. Could have sacrificed him to cast a Force for 3 and get rid of the enchantment. Because dealing with your commander is one thing, but this thing acts as a second commander, especially with so many of those graveyard interacting things.
Yeah.
So that was the real fuck up. But yeah, I had lands on top for days anyway, so couldn't really do something here.
Yeah.
I think this is, well, like with a bit of practice, this is in Hidetsugu's favor, to be honest. I don't think it's
probably
in Elephant's favor. I have absolutely no stocks into playing this type of deck, so some points go to you for my bad decisions, I would say, and also for getting my brainstorm.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I think it's also like we saw that, like this game we saw here was just very draw based. It went a lot slower than it could have gone because I didn't find lands for 6 turns or something like that.
Yeah.
I kept 3 lands and didn't draw another one for a very, very long time. But also, you played your Hidetsugu, and I had a Solitude, and then a Get Lost, and then
you had things, but I also didn't manage to find anything to interact with, anything that you bring up.
Yeah.
In a Demon control deck, basically.
Yeah.
So I failed to find my big hits, and I failed to find any kind of counterspell or whatsoever. I think I had a Drown at some point for a token. Okay, cool.
And a Memory Lapse.
Which it did its job, but you know, going towards trying to win the game, nothing happened.
And as we can see here, this deck, it resolves a couple of cards, and then those synergies with the enchantment and the cards on board, even if he does have removal spells, they're not doing much against the board state that is being generated there. So that's very, very strong synergies came out at the end there.
True.
I had the Magus. There might have been a good time to cast the Magus, but I didn't think. I thought it would hurt me more than it would hurt you most of the time.
Probably, yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well.
I think it was the right decision. I mean, it's not bad to shut down my my sacrifice land, my power, because this one always gives me the option to instantly.
It also bets on you not finding something.
Exactly.
And the way that I'm seeing you play, I can see that you don't have, like, you haven't aggressively sacked your commander, so it means that there's no card in hand that you have that would have dealt with whatever I was doing. So I was like, okay, well, I don't really need the Magus because you don't have a big spell.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nonetheless, cool game.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. And we will see each other in the second one.
See you next time.